The main elements of this policy are: 1, to increase the share of economically viable renewable energy in Barbados' energy mix. 2, to achieve savings in the country's consumption of electricity compared to a business as usual scenario. 3, to achieve savings in transportation and other non-electric energy uses. 4, to increase the sustainability and efficiency of fossil fuel exploration, production, transportation, storage, and use across all sectors. And 5, to increase the awareness and skills of the people of Barbados in relation to sustainable energy.
Prime Minister Stewart says the financing agreement for the sector will be ready for signing by March next year.
Under this program, €3 million have been allocated to the sector. €150,000 to support civil society, €200,000 towards technical assistance to support or accompany the programming, preparation, and implementation, and €150,000 to support the Office of the National Authorizing Officer.
Well, just before the signing, the Prime Minister was paid a courtesy call by Vice President of Finance at the European Investment Bank, Pim van Balkom. Mr. Balkom says they're looking forward to doing lots of business with Barbados and revealed that several issues were discussed.
We highlighted three points about our engagement in Barbados: increased lending for climate projects in the region, and if we are trying to diversify the energy base, which is quite important, and sustainable energy base, of course, not fossil fuel based. We also discussed the diversification of the economy. The European Bank is not only an infrastructure bank, which originally was the mandate, but we are active in practically all corners of the economy. The investment climate in Barbados, governance issues.
In other news now, a one-armed bandit has been arrested and charged by police for nearly 24 serious offences, including aggravated burglaries. The man is 41-year-old Michael Marshall, who was held during a police operation at Bell Road, St. Michael last week. Marshall now has to answer to almost 20 charges before the law court, including kidnapping and illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. He appeared in the Oistins court this afternoon, also facing 2 counts of resisting arrest. Additionally, Marshall has been charged with 7 counts of burglary and 4 counts of aggravated burglary. According to lawmen, the aggravated burglaries allegedly took place at Richmond Plantation in St. Peter last year, as well as at Neil's Plantation, St. Michael, and Union St. Philip this year. Marshall was reported missing in April last year. He pleaded not guilty to the charges and has been remanded in custody to Her Majesty's Prison at Dodds. He is to reappear in court on November 11th. And there was a hive of activity involving armed lawmen with over 6 vehicles and several police motorcyclists just after midday near Flo Windsor Lodge, St. Michael. The incident stemmed from the police pursuit of a man on a cycle, which occurred in full view of students of the nearby Charles F. Broome Primary School who were on their lunch break. The drama lasted for just over half an hour, but when it had all played out, a young man was arrested by lawmen who are yet to release his name. Police Public Relations Officer, Acting Assistant Superintendent David Welch says investigations into this incident are ongoing. Meanwhile, a fresh appeal has been launched as the search continues for Emella John. The 18-year-old has been reported missing since October 7th. Searches were conducted by police and John's family, but there's still no trace of the missing teen. Anyone with information about the whereabouts of Emella John is asked to contact the police or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477. A 54-year-old Christchurch man is lucky to be alive after a serious accident this morning. He is Anthony Bentham of Maxwell Christchurch. Peter Thorne has the story.
Bentham was driving a Suzuki van on his way from Oistins to Bridgetown when he was involved in an accident with a ZM taxi, which was also going in the direction of Bridgetown from Oistins. Bentham's vehicle went over a nearby slope or incline with a drop of almost 100 feet, landing by the side of a house that's under construction. He was freed from his vehicle by the Barbados Fire Service, which used the jaws of life. Bentham reportedly received injuries to his chest, neck, and back, as well as a laceration to the top of his head. It's understood that the accident occurred sometime after 7 o'clock, and police and fire officials quickly converged at the scene, as well as several Barbadians. Bentham's brother-in-law was relieved that the self-employed father escaped with his life, describing him as a fun-loving person who enjoys making people laugh.
His daughter called one of her aunts, and tell her that Tony got in an accident and the jaws of life had to cut out the van and she is on his way to the hospital. Right? So I called to find out where the accident happened, and then they told me down here. That's why he just left and come down here.
But he usually does what? He sells bread, what he does?
What he
does?
All I know he is bake. If he is bake, probably he sell bread also. And he do other jobs, really.
Investigations into the accident are continuing. Peter Thorne, CBC News.
Thanks, Peter. Well, there are positive signs for at least one major carrier going into the winter season. General Manager of JetBlue Airlines, Terry Lane, says not only are the bookings good, but a favorite of Barbadian travelers will also be reintroduced.
Winter bookings are actually pretty good. I know for a fact that, especially on our mint product, sales have been very, very good. We've been seeing some very good prices out of the New York market. The Boston market, obviously being new, persons now have to learn about the flight, but forward bookings actually look very positive into December and January, so we're very happy to see what our winter season is shaping out to be like.
We'll have more news ahead, but first we want to get your take on this question. Should outside assistance be sought in locating missing people over a lengthy period of time in Barbados? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the results for you at the end of the news.
What's your idea of holiday happiness? Watching the kids open presents? Cooking in our new kitchen? The look on his face. Add to your holiday happiness with a loan from Scotiabank, and you could win a trip for two to Miami and other great prizes. Visit your Scotiabank branch today and talk to a representative about getting your loan. Contest ends January 15th. Conditions apply. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Naturally better Orchard.
Time for fun, bring out the sun. Nutritious, so delicious.
Way less sugar, no artificial sweeteners.
Orchard, a natural choice.
Orchard,
with real fruit juice.
Orchard, celebration in each pack.
Orchard 250 ml juice drinks now deliciously improved. Free of artificial sweeteners. More natural goodness with between 33 to 55% less added sugar. Orchard, a perfectly natural choice.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
Distributed by Massey Distribution.
What's this, you ask? Oh, it's just spreadsheet smashing, hedge trimming, dog walking, weekend awaying, show boating, gravity defying, tree chopping, glucose, technology, energy fueling, barbecuing, glucose refueling, engine revving, crowd surfing, home commuting, crocodile wrestling, explosion ignoring, awesome kind of energy. Whatever you do it with energy.
The last fishing season was a challenging one for those in the industry. The Barbados National Union of Fisherfolk Organizations, or Barnufo, says climate change, rising sea levels and the invasion of the sargassum seaweed have all negatively impacted on catches. President Vernal Nichols says as part of its response, Barnufo has been educating and training its members. The latest batch graduated from training courses in navigation and safety at sea, advanced first aid and financial planning put on by the organization and several sponsors. Ms. Nichols, while looking towards the future, wants Barbados to be aware of changes in world fisheries.
whether in distant waters or coastal fisheries. We in Barbados and in the Caribbean region, while feeling the effects of changes taking place in world fisheries environment, we must keep abreast with change in its many forms, technology change not excluded. We must be prepared to continue to educate ourselves and to look toward other avenues such as product development in the post-harvest sector and redefine our fishing methodologies and techniques as we continue to ply our waters in search of a variety of fish species.
Chief Fisheries Officer Stephen Willoughby says while the training has been beneficial to fisherfolk, there are still some who stick to their bad habits.
Let me give you an example. After a training course in fish handling, about 3-4 weeks after, I went into the market to see how the graduates were doing. What I saw shocked me. People were still eating and drinking while cleaning fish. The food and the drink was still on the steel. There was no ice inside. And these are people who would have had the training.
Participant Stephen Sylvester says he enjoyed the hands-on experience.
Going to the Coast Guard, that was a super day. Just getting into the water for me was the height of the day. But learning to save a person doing rescue was really something that you appreciate. The hands-on experience of the Coast Guard. I really want to thank them. I don't see any of them here today, but I really want to thank them.
Barbados, countries in the region and the Pacific are being challenged to unite in resisting the coordinated approach by developed countries to destabilize their economies. And this comes often under the guise of development assistance programs. CEO of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, used the opening ceremony of the inaugural Caribbean Pacific Agri-Food Forum to warn that island states in both regions seem to be swimming against the tide of global economic realities. He's even suggested they're being sacrificed on the altar of commercial expediency. Mr. Paul says people are being alienated from the land as a result, and there is a huge disconnect between the ordinary citizens and people in agriculture.
This is reflected by the fact that in today's world, every effort has to be made to teach our children that food comes through the effort of farmers around the world rather than through a supermarket's back door. These are things we have to contemplate as more and more people live in urban environments and have no understanding of or concern of the plight of farmers. However, small island developing states as ours are unique in that we are too small to isolate activities from each other.
President of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, Senator Norman Grant, says farmers have been influential in the development of agriculture in the region. He suggested the Caribbean has failed to address the 9 binding constraints to regional agriculture as outlined in the Jagdeo Initiative. He is, however, optimistic the 5-day forum will be a game changer for the regional agricultural sector.
Whatever outcome that we get over the next 5 days, we should not attach the name of an individual to that. But we should focus on ensuring that what we're doing, it is an initiative by the people in the region, it is an initiative by the farmers within both regions, and that there is certainly commitment and collaboration to ensure that it works.
And Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Esworth Reed, says his ministry recognizes the importance of the agriculture sector to Barbados's economic growth and development. He says it has been doing all in its power to ensure the sector rejuvenates itself and grows. He notes, however, several challenges confront the sector that the ministry is working to combat.
With respect to the challenge faced from predatory larceny, and I believe that this is the challenge faced by farmers in many of our countries, and I'm talking about the countries present here, or represented here, our Ministry of Agriculture has already submitted to the Chief Parliamentary Council, which is the office responsible for drafting legislation here in Barbados, a set of legislation that will seek to strengthen penalties with respect to perpetrators of predatory larceny and to establish certain systems that should serve to deter criminals from committing such acts.
Well, still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. But first, we want to hear from you on this question. Should outside assistance be sought in locating people missing over a lengthy period of time in Barbados? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the results for you at the end of the news. Now remember, you can also follow us on Twitter at CBC_newsroom and on our Facebook page, CBC News Barbados.
Enjoy the real Fruta, refreshing juice of every day. Oh, Fruta.
We are builders. We build from foundation to rooftop. We build. Barbados Lumber Company is proud to announce the opening of its new hardware and home improvement center in Church Street, Spikestown. We guarantee the same high-quality service, affordable products, and a free island-wide delivery that have made Barbados Lumber Company a household name. Come shop with us and experience Spikestown's newest treasure. Barbados Lumber Company, building our country, our communities, our home.
Barbados Lumber Company.
This week on Rejoice and Sing, they're passionate about their Lord and their music. They are Honor in Praise.
You say that I am free. How can it be?
We get up close and personal with Brooklyn-born, Bajan-bred Curtis Haywood.
That you have to be really creative in terms of how are you going to take care of home so you're not too easily pulled in and thrown in to the water, because that's what the industry will do.
Karen Francis is in the spotlight
And ask you for your guidance, especially today.
and we shake it up with Mercy Me. Join us. Rejoice and Sing, brought to you with the compliments of Sewing World Department Store and Black Image Cosmetique, number 4 and 5 Swan Street, for all your curtain needs this holiday season.
Live up. For more information, contact your local council for the disabled or association.
President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Warren Smith, says considerable investment is required to address the impact of climate change. As a consequence, the CDB has stepped up its resource mobilization efforts. And today, the CDB signed a letter of intent with the European Investment Bank, which was represented by Vice President of Finance Pim van Ballekom. The agreement will strengthen support for the sustainable economic development of the region and support climate adaptation and mitigation in Caribbean countries. Dr. Smith says countries in the region are among the most vulnerable to the effects of climate change.
2 weeks ago, we signed several agreements for financing that will facilitate investments in renewable energy and energy efficiency, and further encourage the development of geothermal energy in the member countries of the OECS. We're also hoping to be able to tap resources from global mechanisms such as the Adaptation Fund and the Green Climate Fund. We are currently pursuing accreditation to both of these funds.
Dr. Smith says the EIB has agreed to provide a €50 million Climate Action Line of Credit, or CALC. He says total commitments to date amount to $35 million, or 54% of the facility.
Projects include a highway reconstruction project, water supply redevelopment, dam rehabilitation, and a solar plant. All these projects were subjected to detailed climate vulnerability assessments and designed accordingly. It is anticipated that the funds will be fully committed by March 2016, with the approval of another 3 projects at our December board meeting.
The EIB is the world's largest lender for climate-related investment. The bank recently announced 35% of future lending will go to supporting climate-related projects in some of the most vulnerable countries.
Now we are recognizing the need to support investment to climate change issues because the Caribbean islands and states are quite vulnerable to that. And over the last 4 years,